Hey, what's up guys? Joker here. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Gamdias Eros Elite gaming headset that they sent out to me. I recently had looked at their keyboard, which I really like, the Hermes-like keyboard. So when they asked me if I wanted to check out their headset, I said, sure, why not? I like the keyboard a lot, so go ahead and take a look at the headset as well. And I'll tell you right away that my experience with the headset has not been as good as it was with the keyboard for several reasons that we'll get into in the video. But first, let's go ahead and take a look at what you get along with the headset. So of course we get the headset in here, and it has a detachable microphone that fixes right onto the headset itself, and it is a completely wired headset, so it's not wireless, and it does use USB as its output. So you're not going to have the benefit of being able to use something like a DAC amp with this if that's something you wanted to use. And that's really one of the big concerns for me that I have with headsets in general, is I'm not a big fan of using USB for audio and really in any scenario, whether it's listening or recording audio. If I'm using a microphone, I want to use an XLR output that's going to a good receiver for that. And then for headphones, I want to be running through a high quality sound card or a desktop DAC amp, which is what I prefer to use personally. So I like having a dedicated device for the job, basically. If I'm using a headset, I want to have a good pair of headphones. If I want to have a mic, I want to have a good microphone. And I usually don't look for things like headsets to have everything all in one package. So I just want to let you guys know that about me personally going into this. I do recognize the convenience of something like this, having everything all in one. You could just pop it right in, and it's good for certain things. This does work with a PS4 or an Xbox One, so you're not limited to using this just with the PC. But for people that I talk to on a normal basis, being on the PC, we have a lot more options. It seems like we tend to lean towards using dedicated devices for that specific job rather than using a universal item that would maybe plug in over USB. At least with more enthusiast grade audio listening and recording, stuff like that. That's most of the people I spend my time talking to. But there's definite convenience here in a headset like this. I did want to point out the braided cable on this. While it does feel nice in the hands and it looks nice, it's not going to kink up as much as a rubber cable. I would not like to see this in audio cables in the future in any devices. No matter who's making it, I don't want to see braided cables. I know that they look nice and they feel good and everything like that, and on keyboard and mice, it's fine. But the problem that you run into when you're listening on an audio device that has a sleeved cable, that sleeved cable, because it has a texture to it, there's a cloth texture to it, it's going to pick up anything that it comes in contact with. If it rubs along your desk or your shirt, that audio is then going to be fed up through the length of the cable and into your headphones, and you are going to hear that, and it's extremely annoying. It's not, you don't want to hear that when you're trying to get a good listening experience. So that's definitely a major gripe that I have to point out about this headset, is that they're trying to sort of keep up with the trend of using the sleeved cables, but its implementation in an audio device is really just not necessary, and it winds up actually producing a negative experience. As far as the build quality and design of the headset itself is concerned, it's got a all plastic construction, but it does have a nice finish on it. It has like that nice sort of rubberized matte finish that we're seeing now more and more frequently on the majority of the housing for the ear cups. But then in the center here, we have a logo that lights up with an orange LED. You can't change that at all. It's just an orange light. And that has sort of like a glossy finish to it, which is definitely a fingerprint magnet on the glossy portion of this. So just be aware of that. And the build quality of the housing, I will say as well, is also lighter than I would have expected. Just by the general feeling of it and having that smooth rubberized matte finish, it's something I usually associate with a good quality product and a good quality build, but this one is just, I mean, you guys can hear it there. It's really light, hollow plastic. These things weigh like next to nothing. And coming from someone that uses a steel and leather headset, it's definitely a step backwards in terms of build quality for a pair of headphones that didn't cost me that much more than what these are, because these are $85. And for $85, I would have expected a better build quality. There are other headsets out there that are doing the same amount of features, like Turtle Beach and Senti. They have some decent headsets that are USB, have built-in remotes. They do the simulated surround and all that. And they have, from what I've experienced, better build quality and at a lower price. So I'm not really sure where the pricing is coming in on this, because it's not really in terms of the sound quality, which we'll get into in a minute, or in the build quality, or in the feature set, because it's not wireless. So it begs the question to me as to why it's $85, because it really doesn't feel like an $85 product. The headband, for example, this part right here that stretches, rather than having an adjustable headset, it just kind of stretches, which I've seen on a lot of headsets. Audio-Technica uses it to good effect, and it works really well. But the materials on this are just a really cheap plastic, kind of like the plastic I would expect to see on something that came out of like a dollar store. Honestly, I'm just trying to be honest here. I know it doesn't sound amazing, and sometimes the truth hurts, but that's really what it is. This feels like a very, very cheap plastic to me, and it's not something I would want to use on a daily basis, because I've used products that use stuff like this, and it tends to start peeling within just a couple of months, especially something that's going to be sitting up on your head and you're going to be sweating on. This is going to start to peel away really quickly, and it's not going to be something you're going to want to wear for very long. And they also have this really unnecessary like roll cage going across the top. I don't know if I'm going to get thrown out of a Jeep in the middle of wearing this headset, but what's with the roll cage, guys? What's with the roll cage? I mean, you're not protecting anyone here with the roll cage. I don't get the design. A lot of companies are using this, and personally, I've never understood it. I don't really think it looks that good aesthetically, and it just makes the headset look enormous on top of the wearer's head. Anyone that's wearing this looks like absolute clown shoes, okay? They look like clown shoes because the thing is standing like 6 inches above their head from where the headphones actually stop. We don't need it. As far as sound quality is concerned, straight out of the box, it does have a neutral flat response curve, which is good to see. I don't want to see any extra coloration being put on. You can go into the included software and adjust the EQ if you want on different sliders, or you can just press the buttons right on the remote. They have an FPS and a bass boost on here, which essentially do exactly what they say. Bass is going to increase your bass quite a bit and decrease the treble, whereas the FPS mode, it winds up increasing the treble and decreasing the bass, which kind of gives it a really tinny sound effect. The reasoning behind this is that it's meant to emphasize footsteps and stuff like that in the environment in a first-person shooter, and if you are playing a competitive FPS, then this can give you some advantage as far as hearing people around you, especially in Counter-Strike, but it's not something I would use personally because I'm more concerned with how my game is going to sound, and it doesn't really sound very good using this, and I've actually was able to recreate it by doing a quick audio edit and just doing a treble boost in Audacity that I'll let you guys listen to now. So as you guys can see, it's really just a treble boost. That is basically the effect that you're getting inside the headset. And I don't personally like the way it sounds, but it is giving you that benefit of being able to hear footsteps a little bit better if that's something you are interested in using. Along with the FPS and bass modes on the remote, there's also a surround mode, which you can go ahead and toggle on and off if you want to. And I, for the life of me, could not get this to give me any type of alternate audio experience. I tried listening to music, movies, loading into Battlefield 4, Battlefront, and turning the surround mode on and off, and like literally nothing was happening. I had the software open in my computer. I tried toggling it on and off in there, and I did not notice any significant difference to how the audio sounded between surround and non-surround. And I get that it's supposed to be simulated surround, but I've experienced a lot of simulated surround before. I've had many Turtle Beach headsets that did simulated surround that sounded a lot better than this. And the surround just really didn't feel like it was doing anything at all. It just still sounded like a very stereo experience using the 250mm drivers that are inside of here. And I didn't really see any noticeable difference at all, like I was saying. And on top of that, I'm not a big fan of digital coloration anyway. If you're going to do surround sound, do surround sound. Don't do stereo speakers and then try to make it sound like surround sound, because then it just sounds like crappy surround sound. That's generally what it sounds like. You can have a really good stereo audio experience that still gives you a sort of like surround experience where you have directional audio. You can tell things are to the front left of you or to the front right of you or back right of you without having, 7 individual speakers inside a pair of headphones or having it being simulated in some piece of software. You don't really need to simulate it digitally like that to get that effect. So just, if you're going to make a good pair of stereo headphones, just do that. And lastly, before we get out of here, I'll go ahead and give you guys a quick microphone test so you can see what the mic sounds like for yourself. So this is the microphone test for the Gamdias Eros Elite. As you can see, it's not picking up a ton of background noise, which is something that I do like to see in a microphone like this. On a headset, I want to see that it's going to have a mic that's not going to be really annoying, because as a person that hangs out on places like TeamSpeak a lot, I don't want to, hear background noise from other people's houses and stuff. So that's really important to me as a user or as someone that's potentially going to be around someone else using a headset like this. And I'll let you guys listen to the background now so you can guys get an idea if it's picking up anything or not. And as you can see, yeah, it's doing pretty good. I have a washing machine running on the other side of my bedroom door, which is closed, so
it's not picking up any of that from what I can hear, and I haven't edited any of this audio, so that's the microphone test for you guys, so you guys know how that sounds.
So that's really all I got for you guys about the Gamdias Eros Elite headset. I wish I had better news for you, but with other headsets out there being around $35 to $50 and giving you a very similar feature set with what I've experienced, a better build quality, better sound quality, and a more consistent feature set, it's hard to recommend this headset up at around $80, which is what it's releasing for, especially when the sound experience, it really isn't justified at that cost, nor is the build quality of the headset with the really plastic construction, the okay mic quality, and not so amazing audio quality. It does have things like the surround mode, which, like I said, did not work for me, and the FPS and bass modes, which don't really give a good audio experience. The bassy mode just makes everything else sound really muddled and confusing, and the FPS mode just kind of makes everything sound like you're inside a submarine or a tin can. So it really doesn't offer any benefit to the headset, which is why I wouldn't really recommend anyone paying additional money for it on this headset. Like when I said, other headsets are doing it better for less. So I'm going to go ahead and get out of here now, guys. This is probably the last Gamdias review I'll be doing after this review. So I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll catch you next time. Ta-ra.